Today I fucked up by trying a new sex position with my BF and ending up in the hospital. Okay, so this didn't happen today, but 3 days ago. I've been laid up in a hospital bed since then, so give me a break and just read the damn thing. Wednesday night the BF and I were kid-free for the evening and decided to go out on a quick date. Ended up having a blast at our local joint, then came home and did the deed. Wanting to spice things up a bit, we tried a new position. Don't get too excited, it wasn't anything acrobatic, just different for us. I jokingly said afterward that I needed some Advil after cause I doubted I could walk afterwards. Ha ha ha. I would live to regret that joke. My pelvic area began to ache about 10 minutes afterwards. I said to him I'll be right back. I guess I really do need an Advil and went downstairs. My pelvis began to hurt so I stopped in the bathroom and immediately collapsed. The pain was surreal. My body began to shake. I started to sweat. I had my phone with me and frantically tried to dial my BF cause I couldn't muster up the breath to scream for him. My fingers fumbled about, I couldn't get my phone to work. I was losing consciousness. A few seconds later my BF comes downstairs to get something to drink and finds me on the bathroom floor. Next thing you know I'm at the emergency room. 12 hours I was in the ER unable to move due to the extreme pain. I cried out and my vitals were crashing. I looked 3 months pregnant. My stomach was swelling. Thankfully a nurse named Hannah stopped by and recognized my symptoms just as my stomach went rigid and my vitals tanked. I was rushed to the OR. 2 hours later I'm being awoken by a nurse and told that I had what was called a hemorrhagic cyst of about 6 centimeters that had ruptured as a result of our sexual endeavor and was bleeding out into my abdomen at an alarming rate. How alarming? 2.5 liters of blood was removed during surgery from my abdomen. That's how much. I required a blood transfusion. Recovery will be long. My body is totally wiped, but at least I can say the sex was good. Too long didn't read, had sex and ended up almost dying due to internal bleeding from a ruptured cyst. Better now. Edit, apparently the position is called the mating press. And for the assholes who keep messaging me that I'm a damn liar, here's some photos from the ER visit. Do you want my discharge papers too? Jesus. Well, at least now you have a story to always trump people at parties. You went backpacking in Tibet, Claire. Well, let me tell you about the time I had sex so hard it caused internal bleeding and almost killed me. Exactly. Bragging rights at a party. Don't want to brag about the size of my BF, but he literally tore up my insides to the point I nearly died. And that's we call a regular Wednesday night. Sex brought you into this world. Sex almost took you right back out of it. That's how I want to die. Coming and going at the same time. As soon as I got to this line, my pelvic area began to ache about 10 minutes afterwards. I immediately, ruptured a cyst. Damn. Been there. Brown, hope you're feeling better. If it's any consolation, the position wouldn't have made a difference. TBH, it could have happened any time. Thanks for the concern. I am feeling leaps and bounds better than I was on Wednesday, that's for dang sure. And yeah, the cyst would have ruptured at some point regardless. I'm glad you survived. I can't imagine the guilt your boyfriend could have carried from literally fucking you to death. BTW, you never tell us the sex position. Plot twist, it was 69 and ops partner is an anteater. Congrats on the sex. Death. By Snoo Snoo. Today I fucked up by sending my dad the wrong text. Today I fucked up by sending a mortifying text to me dad. To preface, this happened yesterday and I'm still processing and trying to come to terms with the fact that this is what I have to live with moving forward with my life. I had a stressful week with school, work, running errands, arranging pet sitting while I'll be gone, numerous other unnecessary stresses, change of plans, and packing for my week-long trip to Virginia. Yesterday in particular was super stressful. I came home from an overnight stay at a new sexual partner's place, Nick. I was texting Nick, my best friend, my sister-in-law, my stepmom, and my dad all at the same time. You can probably already guess what happened. I was texting Nick, we were reflecting on the night before and my dad suddenly texted wishing my sister and I a safe trip trip and all that good stuff. I finished my text to Nick and was replying to my best friend who I had already been texting prior to my dad. While I was texting my best friend, I received a question mark reaction, iPhone, text from my dad, which left me confused for a split second because I haven't responded to him yet. Lo and behold, of course I sent the inappropriate text to me dad instead of to Nick! FML. I am mortified to say the least. My soul left my body. I screamed my lungs out for the next 10 minutes, trying to decide if this is the sign to jump off the bridge. Sorry dad, you don't deserve more gray hairs. Screenshots of the text. You're welcome to cringe with me and laugh at me. Too long didn't read, sent my dad an inappropriate text that was supposed to be for my partner. Update. This blew up way more than expected. I hope you all had a great laugh at my mega cringe moment. Yes, I'm okay. Thank you to all that reached out and were concerned for my safety. I will get tested as soon as I get back home from my trip, and yes, I will end the relationship. Dad at next barbecue. Hannah, you like the hot dogs without the casing, right? Fuck. Why did I just envision that? Woman face palming. Your dad handled that bow today. I fucked up fully, I must say. He really did. It made my anxiety a hair less worst. Dad handled it like a good sport, lol. Solidarity. I texted my dad a few years ago, we are so having sex when I get home. It was meant to go to my fiance, now husband. Cringed even writing that out right now. Blech. I was mortified. No. My gosh, that's so bad. I'm sorry. How did he respond? Crying face, crying face, crying face. Yeah, I did this years ago and text my dad saying, are you masturbating again? You're always so grumpy after you masturbate. It was in a back and forth with a friend. It's been 16 years and I still cringe. Today I fucked up almost choking my 6-month-old son to death. This happened today during dinner time, and I still have all that adrenaline in me, so I decided to share it here to help myself calm down. Some background context before the fucked up. Me, 25 years, my wife, 24 years, and my son, 6 MTHS, are staying with my parents. My son has recently started on solid foods pureed and he enjoys it. Also, his motor skills has been developing much faster than most babies his age. So, many time we just let him be, thinking he'll be fine. Moving on to the fuck up. During dinners my son would usually join us in his high chair eating his baby bites. Biscuit for baby. It was the same tonight, just that he was asking for more this time. So we decided giving him apples might be a good idea since he likes the pureed version. My mom then proceeds to cut a slice of apple, normal adult-sized slice. We then feed him the apple, letting him suck on it. Then my wife asked my mom to cut smaller so that he can eat it. My mom replied saying that she's worried that if it's too small he might end up breaking it with his gum and choke himself. But in the end we somehow got my mom to cut it into smaller bite size. So, we just continued our dinner while talking about what to do if a baby does get choke. Heimlich maneuver, CPR. Basically topic around those area. Then we hear a tiny apple crunch. He was still happily eating, so we continue chatting and eating. But shortly after my wife shouted for me saying he's really choking. I turned and saw my son's face during red purplish. No sound was coming out of him. I instantly shot up from my chair, removed him from his high chair and tried to perform the Heimlich maneuver for babies, basically mimicking from a vague memory of what I saw on YouTube years ago. And then he coughed and started crying. This was the first time that I'm glad to hear my son's cry. Now I'm having a slight headache from all that adrenaline rush. But I'm glad my son is alive and kicking. Thanks to that random YouTube video I watched years ago. Edit 1. My wife saw this post and she corrected one of my mistake. It was actually my sister who suggested to cut the apple into smaller slices. We just didn't disagree with the idea. Edit 2. OMG. This really blew up. I posted this before going to work. I work night shift. It was only about 100 plus upvotes before I left for work and I could still keep up with all the comments. While I was at work, I kept receiving notifications. Then I saw 2K upvotes. and now 20k. I never thought my first post on r/today I fucked up would get 20k upvotes and 1000 over comments and all those awards. Really want to thank everyone for your concern. My son is fine, actively crawling around. Edit 3. I saw some comments about CPR certification. I served the military for 2 years, so I was trained to do CPR, but on adults, not babies. I only knew about it cause I spend way too much time on YouTube. Edit 4. Just saw many comments about lead weaning. We are doing this. Usually we would mash bananas, sweet potatoes, saute apples. It's just this one time that we decided it's fine to let him suck on the apple and somehow ending up letting him eat it. Horrible mistake which we will never forget. Edit 5. I realized I might have used the term Heimlich maneuver wrongly. What should I call it? Heimlich for babies maneuver. What I did was holding my son face down at about, legs slightly higher up, and I slap/thrust/pat. I think it was more like a pat/slap. I was panicking and everything I did was based on my vague memory of a video from YouTube. In the moment I was more like do whatever possible to save my son. Too long didn't read. We fed my 6-month-old son some apple causing him to choke. I performed the Heimlich maneuver for babies based on a vague memory of a YouTube video to save him. Just a general FYI. Ever feed toddlers and small children hot dogs that have not been split lengthwise? A hot dog is the same size as a child's trachea. Splitting it ensures that it does not block the trachea in case of choking. Hot dogs are the most common food they choke on. Mini corn dogs. They seem so kid-friendly, meant for kids even. Ever again whole after my 5-year was eating in a restaurant and it got lodged. Thankfully I knew what to do. One hard pat didn't get it, so I picked her up, got her upside down, and began smacking the shit out of her back, between shoulder blades. She spit it out and vomited everywhere, but she gulped air for a good 5 minutes afterwards. I'm sure it looked like I was trying to murder my child, but she lived, damn it. Oh man, my little girl once choked on one of those gummy treats meant for little kids, went blue and all. I tried Heimlich and all but eventually just had to reach in AMD pull it out. He was 2, knew she had to chew but just forgot I guess. I cried and just held her for a good 15 minutes at least. That feeling of extreme relief. And just bring glad that your child is fine. Glad that your daughter is fine too. I'm glad he's okay now. I felt scared even when reading this story. Even now I'm still shaking just thinking about it. I wasn't even sure what I saw on YouTube could have saved him. Hey op, you should take your son to the doctor to make sure he is alright. My CPR certification has run out, so my info is a little old, but about 5 years ago I went through a pretty in-depth course, 5 months, that spent a bit on choking babies. Basically, this is true of anyone who requires Heimlich/other choking maneuvers, but particularly for babies. Anytime choking happens there can be throat damage, and the maneuvers to resolve it can cause issues with the lungs or other internal organs. Unlikely your son has issues, but definitely worth a visit. I'm guessing you'll listen to your mom next time. Smile. Glad your son is okay. Yup, mothers are always right. Embarrassed smiley face.